I'm Mark Dolan. Join me at 11 on GB News for Headliners, in which I'll be joined by two of the UK's top comedians discussing tomorrow's papers. If it's an important story, we'll cover it, but we'll have some fun along the way. Headliners, the late-night paper review that won't send you to sleep like the others will. 7 nights a week at 11 p.m. on GB News.
Monday to Thursday nights on GB News. At 6, it's Dubes & Co. 7 o'clock, Farage. At 8, join Mark Stein. And at 9, Dan Wootton Tonight, followed by Headliners. On TV, radio and online. This is GB News.
Monday to Thursday, 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. Join me, Dan Wootton. I'll bring you the sharpest takes and hottest debates. Do you not believe in prison?
I don't believe in prison.
I'm completely stunned. I guarantee you there'll be no spin, no bias, no censorship.
I actually was personally quite offended by it.
And no reason to go to bed.
So I guess they've always been quite woke.
That's Dan Wootton Tonight on TV, radio and online. Monday to Thursday from 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Lawrence Fox, on GB News. Frank, fun, fearless and sometimes serious. Much as I love a Friday night punch-up, what I really want is a battle of ideas. I want to look at things differently. I want to hear different voices and engage with your unique experiences. Every Friday at 7 p.m. on GB News.
Hello, I'm Esther McVeigh.
And I'm Philip Davis.
Whether you're watching or listening on TV, online or on radio, we handpick the latest stories, debates and expert opinions for your weekend. So whether that's politics, news or showbiz, we've got it covered.
Join us every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock on GB News.
Join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. for Gloria Meets. In exclusive interviews, I'll be finding out who our politicians really are and what they really think.
It's something that you would never want anyone to suffer.
I didn't know what channels there were. I didn't think I'd be believed.
I must have weighed about 7 stone and I'm 5'8".
My instincts was to sort of cover this up. I mean, clearly that was a mistake.
Join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hello there, it's Eamon Holmes here from Breakfast on GB News. We're not just on your television and your screens, you know.
We're on DAB plus digital radio, so you can listen to your favourite shows on the move.
If you've not yet listened to GB News Radio, it's very simple. We're on your radio player and tune-in apps, on your smart speaker, phone or tablet, or online at gbnews.uk.
Take us with you wherever you go. GB News Radio.
You never have to miss a moment of the People's Channel.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a special Christmas Eve edition of Tonight Live with me, Josh Howie. We have a packed show tonight. Stick with us and you can learn how to win those Christmas Day debates, hear an exclusive new Christmas song from the singer-songwriter Katie Waissel, and find out where you can get those last-minute gifts if you have not done all your shopping yet. Plus, we'll discuss all the big news stories with my fantastic panel. But first, let's get the latest news headlines with Tatiana Sanchez.
Josh, thank you. This is the latest from the GB newsroom. Protesters have clashed with police again today in Paris as a vigil was being held at a Kurdish cultural centre where a gunman killed 3 people and left several injured. Police used tear gas to try to disperse the crowds. It's after riots broke out yesterday in the wake of the attack. Members of the community have gathered this morning close to where the incident happened. A 69-year-old man who was already known to police is now in custody in relation to that shooting. Wiltshire police have confirmed a 4-year-old boy has died following a serious medical incident at Longleat Centre Parks. Emergency services were called to the resort this morning. The death is not being treated as suspicious. Holidaymakers said the swimming pool there had been closed due to the incident. Rail passengers have been rushing to get the last trains before Christmas Eve services came to a halt. The strike action's expected to cause heavy traffic for millions of people travelling to see their families for Christmas. Travellers heading abroad are also being warned of delays as Border Force officials walk out for a second day. Disruption at UK airports was brought under control yesterday as the military stepped in to replace workers on strike. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have reacted to the apology made by the Sun newspaper on behalf of Jeremy Clarkson, calling it nothing more than a PR stunt. In the article written by Mr Clarkson, he said he hated Meghan. That article has become the Independent Press Standards organisation's most complained about piece. Well, yesterday the Sun said it regrets publishing it and have said it's sincerely sorry. The Sussex's spokeswoman said the newspaper has not contacted Meghan to apologise. Mr Clarkson said he was horrified to have caused so much hurt. Now, at least 19 people are thought to have died as a heavy storm sweeps across parts of the US. A number of fatalities have involved road traffic accidents, including a pile-up in Ohio that reportedly killed at least 2 people. Several were also injured. Temperatures plunged as low as minus 45 degrees in some areas, with around 250 million people under weather warnings. The storm's forecast to develop into what's being described as a bomb cyclone, bringing with it heavy, blinding snow. And back here, forecasters are predicting a white Christmas for the Highlands with unsettled weather for the rest of the UK. The Met Office has put a yellow warning for snow and ice in place for most of the Highlands, running from tomorrow night until 6 p.m. on Boxing Day. Meanwhile, downpours are forecast in most other places over the Christmas weekend. The Environment Agency has issued 66 alerts for possible flooding in England. TV, online and DAB Plus radio. This is GB News. Now it's back to Mark Dolan tonight with Josh Howie.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome along to a Christmas Eve special Tonight Live with me, Josh Howie. Coming up on tonight's show, we are asking, how do you win those heated family debates which take place over the Christmas turkey after a few glasses of sherry? We have some big hitters along to talk about this. Stay tuned and you will be debating champion of your household come tomorrow. The singer-songwriter Katie Waissel will be live in the studio and she'll be performing a new song which she has kindly written especially for this particular occasion. Will Prime Minister Rishi Sunak be celebrating this Christmas? We will be assessing the state of the government as we approach the end of a tumultuous year. And with me throughout the show is my brilliant, all-star, super brilliant panel. I don't know how to do it. They're so effervescent, Dan, normally. Anyway, comedian and TV presenter Tommy Sandu, there he is. Rebecca Jane, the broadcaster and deputy leader of UKIP. And Sean Bailey, the former Conservative Prime Minister of Canada. So I just went by. You know what, Sean? There was something so graceful about the way that you were sitting there, that your legs crossed over, that sort of it brought up that kind of ministerial element to me. We want to hear from you, wonderful viewers, of course. Tell us what you're getting up to this Christmas weekend. GB News at gbviews.uk. Don't mention the last minute, please. But first, a bit of poetry. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled, all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama, in her kerchief and I in my cap, had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. The opening verse is there from A Visit from St. Nicholas, which Clement Moore wrote in 1822, which makes tonight, if my B in GCSE maths is worth anything, its 200-year anniversary. Now, obviously, a lot's changed in 2 centuries. We don't say 'twas anymore. They added an I after cancelling 'tis was. And there's no way my kids are yet snuggled up in their beds. 2 days out of school, they're already gone feral. Stockings have been hung up, though, but I'd be dread to think how my children would react if they woke up and found sugar plums rather than hardcore processed sweets on them. And yes, I do actually still wear a cap to bed, but that's only so my wife can convince herself that I still have hair. My favourite line, though, certainly the most relevant in today's world, is the need to settle our brains. It's what Christmas Eve and tonight's show is all about, because I don't know about you, but 2022 has just barreled by, even faster than ever. I guess because this is the first year in a while that life's somewhat back to normal. And for many, this evening may be the first moment you've had to decelerate and decompress, which is important. Here at GB News, we love an argument, we love a debate. That's what we were created for. But during this period of goodwill to all mankind, we're going to have a temporary truce. Now, don't worry, I'm sure we'll still have some disagreements, but we're toning down the rhetoric a bit. We're going to have some music, hold hands. Okay, maybe holding hands is going too far. But for those of you who find this time of year stressful, for those of you still wrapping presents or who've forgotten to buy some presents or worried about arguing with family tomorrow, or you might just want an entertaining distraction before sleep takes you and Santa visits. Over the next 2 hours, we've got something for everyone. So let's enjoy each other's company, have a laugh, possibly even a moment or two of reflection so that our brains can get nice and settled. Let's get some Christmas thoughts from my panel. Comedian and TV presenter Tommy Sandu. There he is, Rebecca Jane, the broadcaster and deputy chief leader of UKIP. Do you say chief? And Sean Bailey. You're not the Prime Minister, Sean, are you sure? Has something happened over the last 10 minutes? I don't know, the former Conservative candidate for London Mayor, although in my eyes, you'll always be my Prime Minister, Sean. Rebecca, now, do you find this time of year stressful?
Yeah, hate it.
That's why you're here.
Welcome, everybody. Yes, no, I don't particularly love Christmas, hence why I'm working. It's absolutely fine by me. I like it for my kids. I've dragged them along with me tonight, but I do find it really stressful. It tends to be not particularly about the sentiment of Christmas anymore, and there's just mass free-for-all of commerciality, and that doesn't entertain me. I also get very concerned and bothered about the people that are on their own and the homeless and things like that. So I'm always usually very happy when it's over.
So a little bit of cynicism, a little bit of empathy in there. Sean, do you feel the same way? How are you this evening?
I'm the complete opposite. I absolutely love Christmas. It's one of the few times in the year I can stop all of my meetings. I get to go to church a little bit more. I have more time with the kids. I love the presents. I love the whole going for a walk. I'm currently babysitting someone's dog, which is adding to the whole thing. So I absolutely love Christmas. And plus, it's a moment to, hug the family and talk old times. And I have a few traditions that I've made with friends of mine. So we've got this thing called Getting Together for Christmas, a little WhatsApp group. We always meet up no matter where we are in the world. And all those kind of activities. I just love Christmas. I think it's great. Absolutely love it.
That's it. And Tommy, you've got a fantastic Christmas jumper there. Or do you wear that through the year?
No, this is just me being Indian, trying to make the most of it, because I bought it a couple of weeks ago. I'm thinking, well, after tomorrow, I can't wear it. So I'm just going to wear it constantly now for the next 24 hours. But being of a Sikh faith, Christmas is the biggest festival that we celebrate in our house, by far. We got all out. We've got 17 people coming tomorrow. I've already made the vegetable pie. I've marinated my racco lamb. The turkey, I know, has got to go in about 10:30 tomorrow morning. So I love it for the feasting element, for the festivities, for the family element, bringing everyone together. I think everyone, as Sean kind of touched on, you can put all your work to one side. I didn't check my emails today. I don't want to. And I'm not going to check them for another 3 or 4 days. And I think Christmas gives us that license to say shh to the rest of the world and just focus on what's important, which for me is family.
Absolutely. And Sean, like exactly as you said there, you slow down a bit, you reflect during this festive season. Is that also partly going to church? Or do you just sort of stay at home as well? And
I love it, because in my little church, we get together, we put on puppet show for the kids, we put on a games night for everybody. Our local fire service comes round and feeds some of the lonelier, elderlier people in our area. So it's just a great time to be around. And also as well, we've had such a tough time with lockdown. I'm hoping that, business comes back. We've got some local businesses. I use a local cafe because I love a good fry-up. But this Christmas is important to them. They need people to come out and get involved and do things. And my other friend, who I work with, one Keith Prince, which viewers to his channel may know, he does a lot of charity work around this time, a lot of feeding homeless people, a lot of making sure people have a place to go over Christmas. And I like to support with that as well. I just find the whole time a sort of community outpouring that you don't normally have, especially in times now. All we've been doing really is arguing about lockdowns.
That seems to be the last couple of years there. Yeah, I mean, Rebecca, do you have any tips for survival Obviously, dressing up particularly glam this evening. Is that part of it?
Yeah, I mean, why not? I'll at least try and look like I like Christmas. Honestly, I genuinely, if you are struggling to survive this period, that's okay to say. Yeah. And do know that it is going to be over soon. Normality will resume. Try and take the wins where you can. Enjoy the bits that you can. But, if you have to just knuckle down and survive it, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, are you fully prepared? Have you got all the... I saw your daughters out there. Have they got their presents? Hopefully they can't see this. Someone close their ears. Have you got their presents? Or Santa's got their presents?
You're talking to somebody that has mad anxiety at the best of times, so I'm never going to feel like I'm prepared. I'm probably ridiculously overly prepared, but I still never feel like I'm prepared. But Santa is apparently on the way to our house. Mm-hmm. So, fingers crossed that somebody's been good in the back. And
Hold on, if he hears how negative you've been about Christmas right now, I think he's going to skip past it now. He'll be like, look, I'm going to give presents to the kids, but you, young lady, I've just heard what you said on GB News. Santa's an avid watcher of the Mark Dolan show. We know that. He tunes in all year round. Hey! And he would have heard all your negativity right now. You're off the list. I'm sorry.
I have never said that I belong on the good list. There's not one point in the year where you could ever say that, so I'm all right with it.
Well, you know what? Coal is very, very expensive. It's going for good money at the moment, so I think a lot of people wouldn't mind a bag of coal.
I can do some trading there.
Happily take that, sure. I mean, Sean, do you think that people get less cynical? You've kind of hinted at it, but do you think there is this kind of... there's a real thing? It seems like there's a kind of respite in the air at the moment, that everybody is just... So there is that's such a thing. It feels tangible almost, this sort of goodwill.
We need it, don't we? Look, we've had a lockdown, we've had economic strife, cost of living, all these kind of things. People they just want a break, just want a moment when they're not thinking about work, not thinking about who they owe money to, how tough things are, just want to move forward. And I know some people really struggle around Christmas, and I've got a few friends in particular who do, one who's single, but what she's using this period is to build relationships going forward. So she's been on Facebook and written to people and said, look, if you're single and you're in this area, let's get together, but not only in Christmas time. Let's try to keep this going more and more and more, because ultimately, the single most interesting thing in the world is other people. We are built spiritually, physically and emotionally to be in relationships. If you don't have that, and Christmas reminds you of that, use this as an opportunity to just at least think about what you'll try to do. I know it isn't easy, but that hope, the message of Christmas is hope, innit? Jesus gave a message of hope. That hope is springs eternal, keeps people going. Try to help your fellow man and woman indulge in that hope as well.
Well, Sean, it sounds like you're trying to get your friend a date on this. That's what this evening's about. I mean, Tommy, you're not a Christian. I'm not a Christian either, yet I shall be making a nice chicken tomorrow. The presents are all there, or will be there when Santa arrives. So, I mean, it's bigger than being Christian, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And I think, look, I think about this all the time around Christmas time, because when you are from an ethnic minority family and from a family of a different faith, and, my dad came over here on a boat, with his dad, and they, slowly brought the family over, and we slowly, and I remember in my lifetime, we slowly began adopting Christmas festivities into our life, because obviously it was we were peering over the fence a little bit, somewhat, at Christian events and activities, and then you join on the hymns, and you think, hymns are good fun. I love a sing song, right? And ultimately, the messages of all religions are kind of the same. Yeah. It's about inclusion, it's about family, it's about looking after each other, it's a sense of community. And I think my family will buy into the festivities element. And whilst we don't maybe celebrate the full religious messages of Christianity and of Christmas, we can respect it in the same way that Diwali is respected and other festivals are respected by people who are of a Christian faith throughout the year. So I think, us celebrating Christmas is really what multicultural Great Britain is all about. So, and I think most ethnic minority people do as well. And by the way, how are you doing your chicken tomorrow? Because because I'm brining my turkey tonight, so it's brining for 24 hours to add that extra succulent moisture to it.
See, what I'm going to do, Tommy, is I'm going to open up the oven, I'm going to turn it on, and then I'm going to chuck the chicken in, and then I'm going to go to sleep.
Schoolboy, Josh, schoolboy.
It is schoolboy, but it is better than my wife makes it. Anyway. Coming up, we will be joined by some political heavyweights, and they will be here to tell us how we can win those heated family debates over the Christmas turkey tomorrow lunchtime. Don't go away.
Monday to Thursday, 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. Join me, Dan Wootton. I'll bring you the sharpest takes and hottest debates.
Do you not believe in prison? I don't believe in prison.
I'm completely stunned. I guarantee you there'll be no spin, no bias, no censorship.
I actually was personally quite offended by it.
And no reason to go to bed.
So I guess they've always been quite woke.
That's Dan Wootton tonight on TV, radio and online. Monday to Thursday from 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. on GBNews, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Every morning from 6 o'clock, we'll wake you up with GB News Breakfast with all the stories you didn't know from the night before.
So whether it's serious news, entertainment, or your own views from all over our great nation, we're here to kick off your day with a smile.
The national media should be reflecting and reporting what's happening here.
You will notice the northwestern accents.
Whether you're with us on TV, radio, or online, every morning, it's breakfast from 6 a.m. Hope you can join us.
Join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. for Gloria Meets. In exclusive interviews, I'll be finding out who our politicians really are and what they really think.
It's something that you would never want anyone to suffer.
I didn't know what channels there were. B, I didn't think I'd be believed.
I must have weighed about 7 stone and I'm 5'8".
My instincts was to sort of cover this up. I mean, clearly that was a mistake.
Join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hello there, it's Eamon Holmes here from Breakfast on GB News. We're not just on your television and your screens, you know.
We're on DAB plus digital radio, so you can listen to your favourite shows on the move.
If you've not yet listened to GB News Radio, it's very simple. We're on your radio player and TuneIn apps, on your smart speaker, phone or tablet, or online at gbnews.uk.
Take us with you wherever you go. GB News Radio.
You never have to miss a moment of the People's Channel.
My name's Tom Harwood and join me 9:30 a.m. every weekday for The Briefing, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about what's going on in politics today.
I wonder if this is a deal that might need to be like the biscuits in this factory, twice baked.
Is there not an opportunity here to win out against the extremes?
Tom Harwood, GB News.
What are you going to do about it?
Things should have been done differently, and they certainly are being done differently.
Don't miss it. The Briefing with me, Tom Harwood, 9:30 Monday to Friday on GB News.
Hello, I'm Simon Evans. Join me on GB News for Headliners at 11 p.m, where I'll be joined by two of the country's top comedians as we take a look at tomorrow's newspapers tonight. If it's a big story, we'll be covering it, I guarantee, but we'll also have some fun along the way. That's GB News Headliners at 11 p.m. We won't put you to sleep, unlike some of the other paper review shows out there. So join us, 11 p.m, 7 nights a week.
Welcome back to the show. As we all know, Christmas is a time of joy, love, festive merriment, goodwill to all mankind, and heated, bitter debates with family members. So, how do you get the better of things when a few drinks have been downed, the turkey is finished with, and the family turn their attention to rowing about politics? I am thrilled to be joined by three political legends, all great friends of the show, generously giving up their time to join us this Christmas. It's the former Conservative Cabinet Minister Edwina Currie and the author and commentator Christine Hamilton and her husband, the UKIP leader Neil Hamilton. Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
There they are. Hello, hello. Look at that. Edwina's got some, very tinsel there. Unless that's your bling that you wear around the year. I'm not sure. It's got her fingers. Yes, you've done the fingers as well. Neil, you've got a wonderful bow tie and excellent sitting there. Nice to see you guys. Now, I'm going to ask first of all, Edwina,
I've got a Christmas tree on.
Oh, well,
I don't want to be left out. I've got a Christmas tree.
You know what? I'm so sorry. I couldn't see it's that far away, and I need to upgrade my prescription.
Yeah,
That's
it's not big enough.
Forgive me. What a beautiful Christmas tree there. Everybody has come attired correctly. Now we're going to start with Christina. Edwina. We're going to give because of your parliamentary background. What I was hoping was that you could, because I think that kind of gives you an unfair advantage because you're well used to having these debates.
Well, what you have to do if you're around the table is you listen. You wait until somebody says something really kind of dumb, and then you come back at them. I mean, one of the best riposts was to Lady Astor, who was the first woman member of Parliament to take her seat. And Winston Churchill was at her table and had been imbibing a little too well. I don't know whether it was Christmas or not. And she leaned across the table and she said to him, "Winston, you're drunk." And he said, "Well, yes, madam, I think I probably am. You are ugly. And tomorrow I shall be sober." I think that's one of the best put downs ever.
It's great. You know what? I do that every year with my mum, and she loves it. She thinks it's hilarious. What about you, Neil? Do you have any heated debates in your past?
Well, in our household, because we don't have debates, I would never dare, because your husband's place is in the wrong, and Christine is always right, so I know my place.
That's it. So is that right, Christine? Do you think that Neil would be a good debater if he was allowed to speak?
Oh, do you know, the idea, seriously, the idea of, by the way, I can see my chinks are a little bit peak already, but Christmas cheers. The idea that anybody would talk politics around the Christmas table, I find extraordinary. I mean, we just wouldn't think of it. They've actually just arrived, so they're sorting themselves out. We've got 3 young children, 7, 5 and 2. Yeah. There just won't be any politics. And also, we're a divided family in terms of Brexit, so we don't mention the B word. We really don't. And we just don't talk politics, so nothing like that. We might argue over who has the last pig in a blanket and things like that, but certainly not over politics. Christmas is not the time for politics. It's not.
I know, but
There's
some
only
people...
families that are dysfunctional, like the royal family, that will have arguments of that kind.
Oh, really? Well, I don't know. Some people just can't help themselves, certainly about those issues that are slightly toxic that they obsess about. I mean, Edwina, do you have any tips?
Well, as I say, always be a little self-deprecating. I mean, for example, I might respond in a slightly demurring way by saying, no, I don't tell political jokes. I've had to work with far too many of them. And that usually kind of deflects whatever it is somebody's trying to have a go at me about one way or another. But sometimes people can be too modest. You know, the one of Winston Churchill saying of Attlee, his deputy in the coalition, in the wartime coalition, that he was a modest man who had much to be modest about. And Attlee got back at him many, many years later by creating a little ditty, and I rather like this. And he said, "Few thought he was ever a starter. Many thought themselves smarter, but he ended PM. CH and OM, an Earl and a Knight of the Garter." And you feel that Attlee said, kind of so there after that. Sometimes just being a little self-deprecating will win the argument when everybody else is arguing. And they turn to you and say, "What do you think, Edwina?" And I say, "Oh, I think you're all so very, very clever."
That's the way it is. I can do...
Josh,
yes.
What people have got silly hats on, and there's party poppers and confetti and bombs and goodness knows what all over the table, and it's looking like some sort of clown's tea party. The idea that anybody can say anything serious politically. And anyway, people are too keen to get the rest of the presents, any that they haven't opened before, whenever you have your meal.
So, Christine, no, I was just saying, if I've got this right, Christine, 1 second, is that your tip is to basically get everyone wasted and bribe them.
No, that's not at all what I said. And you completely twisted what I said. Don't get them wasted. Get them with a silly hat on. If they want to get wasted, that's fine. Well, I'm in control of the food. So if there's any political, controversy, I just say, right, no pudding. No mince pies.
And I'm in charge of the drink. So I find just keeping the glasses topped up tends eventually to end the argument because everybody falls over.
You know that Neil beat me once on Weakest Link. Neil beat me by 1 point on Weakest Link. Do you remember, Neil? So I have the utmost regard for his intellect.
I see.
I'm very kind.
I'm not sure that intellect, the Weakest Link, has much to do with intellect.
No. But I find in life generally that if you just agree with people and then do the opposite afterwards, that's probably the best way to get on in life.
Well, thank you so much, all of you. I'm starting to suspect you're all actually in the same house and you've deliberately sat in different rooms. Is that very good? Okay, very good. Well, look, guys, have a lovely Christmas. Thank you so much for joining us. Continue with the sherry.
Yeah.
Happy Christmas to you, Josh.
Thank you very much.
Happy Christmas.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Brilliant. Well, let's get our panel in on this one. What do you think, guys? You do some arguing during the breaks? What do you guys do?
You got to be ready. Sorry. I was just saying, you got to be ready for the because it's all well and good us saying be ready for the argument, but you don't know when the argument is coming, and that's the problem. Because it'd be like, oh yeah, the turkey because last year you burnt it. Sorry, what? Sorry, what? Someone just all of a sudden made a little dig at the way you cook, or about, it might be like I say, about politics, whatever. So I think you got to go into Christmas happy, but yet ready. So it's like an underlying focus.
There's two extremes in it. You either do what I do and say, let's not discuss politics. No politics. It's my day job. I don't want to talk about it. It still comes up, but I try every year. You do that, or you make your notes beforehand and you have your 3 points. You research them to death, you only talk about those 3 points, and whatever questions they ask you, you go back to one of your 3 points. That's how you win the argument.
Strong. Okay, what about you, Rebecca? Do you ever argue during Christmas, or do you just let it go?
No, I can't be bothered. I argue all day long every day. And, you know, this is our literal profession. We argue for the sake of it and call it a job. No, forget it at Christmas. Let's chill out for a minute.
So your buttons can't be pushed at Christmas, on Christmas Day? Someone can't just get under the skin a little bit?
That's what family's for. That's what they're great at.
Yeah.
We end up fighting about silly things like people cheating at board games or chess.
No, I'm not doing board games. I'm not doing it. I'm too competitive for that. It's not worth the grief.
See, I'm not the competitive one. My wife is the competitive one.
Yeah.
So I can control myself. My wife, not always. But look, I want to say it one more time. Research your points. Because the other way to win an argument, of course, is to overwhelm your opponent with detail. If you just keep throwing more and more and more and more stats, your opponent starts to think maybe they do know what they're talking about, and they start to wilt. You know, and once you see them wilt, then you really lean in.
Sean, I've got a vision of you now going home after this show and writing little facts down in the sort of like in the Christmas hat, so you can sort of bring it down, have a little peek, get some statistics, put it back up on your head again.
Sean plants them in the crackers around the table, so as you pull it out, there's a little stat there. He's like, aha. He's strategic. He's very
brilliant.
Good.
Well, coming up after the break, singer-songwriter Katie Waissel will be here to perform the Christmas song she wrote with her 4-year-old son, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
We are GB News, and we'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you for bringing us your conversations, for helping our great nation find its voice. We are here for you on radio, television, and online, across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland.
It's not the BBC, you know, you actually get your facts right.
We are proud to be GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
Monday to Thursday on GB News, it's Bev Turner Today from 10 a.m. We're going to be here for you, our GB News family, to keep you up to date, but also make you smile.
There's a guy who went from puberty to adultery.
And I can't wait to bring a few of my own opinions.
I have no time for cultural totalitarianism.
We'll engage in passionate, but always polite debate, with your thoughts and opinions at the centre of it all. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akue, Saturday and Sunday afternoons on GB News. Expect fiery debate and passionate discussion as me and my panel tackle some of the biggest topics hitting the headlines. It's a place for everyone's opinion. No one gets cancelled, but no one gets an easy ride.
Oh, she's on it today!
Be ready for conversations that are fierce, frank, and of course, fun. Every Saturday and Sunday afternoon from 4 p.m. on GB News, the People's Channel.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch.
You've been cancelled. Join the club.
Oh my goodness me. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
We are GB News, the People's Channel.
And right across the United Kingdom.
You can find us on Sky Channel 512,
Virgin Media Channel 604,
Freesat Channel 216,
Freeview Channel 236,
and YouView Channel 236.
You can also take us with you on DAB Plus Radio,
with the GB News app and at the website gbnews.uk.
We're absolutely everywhere.
Come join us on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. Christmas is a time, of course, synonymous with great music, and we all have our favourite festival tunes. Katie Waissel recently wrote her own festive song just for us with the help of her son, Hudson, and she is going to perform it for us tonight. Take it away, Katie.
The holidays are near. I get so excited, it's my favorite time of the year. The time we come together, no matter what we do. Oh, I just can't wait to celebrate with you. So shine your just like we used to do. Oh, I'm hoping that my wishes will come true. So shine your light, you'll be the brightest star. Hold on tight, I'll find you near or far. Nothing's impossible when you dare to dream. This time is full of miracles that sparkle at the seams. All I ever ask of you is to believe. So shine your light, you'll be the brightest star. Nothing is impossible when
There we go. Katie Waissel there. Thank you so much, Katie. You're going to come over and have a chat with us now, but that was beautiful. Thank you so much. We're going to read a few emails out while we're setting you up. Carol says, "Happy Christmas, Josh. Sat watching the show tonight, having a glass of fizz. Thought you'd have family plans tonight. What will they do without you?" That is exactly, Carol, why I took the gig tonight, so I could avoid being at home and dealing with the absolute madness of trying to get 5 kids who are overexcited to see Santa to bed. So I came out here instead, and as I was leaving, my wife gave me a very, very dirty look. Anyway, one more question, because I just want to say hi to this gentleman here. This is from PK, and he just says, "I'm thinking of my wife, Leslie, this Christmas. Sadly, she passed away last year, and this will be the first time in 47 years I'm going to spend Christmas on my own." PK, you're not on your own. We're here. I know this is a bit of a cliche or whatever, but I don't think it's said unrealistically. We're a family here. Thank you so much for watching, and obviously I'm very sorry about your wife, but it's great that you're here joining us. Anyway, we're going to move now to Katie. Hello, Katie.
Hi.
Hello, how are you? It was slightly sad, obviously, PK, but what a beautiful song.
Oh, well, thank you. And to PK and to so many others, you know, that are facing the holidays alone this season, please know that you really are truly not alone. And even if it's reaching out through social media or through charities, I mean, I'm always here, you're always here, absolutely. And this is what the song is about. My son, Hudson, and I, we often do our little... I say carpool karaoke, you know, but it's not. I like to speak about music in the car on the way to school. And with the holidays, you know, we were speaking about who we're celebrating with, and there are, you know, some family members that are no longer with us, and you know, families that travel, that are overseas. And I said, it makes me sad. And my son said, well, no, if you just use your imagination and you believe in the magic, then they can be here with you too. And that's what sparked the song. And so to PK, you know, and anybody else that is feeling a little down right now, you know, reconnect with that magic. Just close your eyes and you'll be able to be with everybody in your mind. They'll be there, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, all go on Zoom.
All go on Zoom.
As long as they're still here.
Absolutely, yep, all go on Zoom for sure. But I'm just a bit like, wow, I've not performed in,
Oh, you're saying
I'd
this
say
before
like
the
a
show.
decade.
Wow.
And thank goodness for PTSD therapy, because if it weren't for that, I don't think I could have ever have found the strength or courage to do that either. It's taken a lot. Mental health matters, and it's important to reach out, and again at this time of year to have that hand to hold.
Thanks for feeling safe enough to do it on our show.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like you just said now, it's a family here. I'm grateful to have been on a few panels. And my son is...
he's out, yeah, he's out.
Out back there with
Your
mum
parents,
and dad.
yeah.
For sure. And this is what's so special about this time of year. And people close down for the holidays from work. And it's our downtime to... It's so important just to switch off and allow yourself to switch off and take that break, you know. But yeah, I mean, may this moment be an inspiration to anyone that feels like that they can't get over a hurdle of theirs. If you absolutely allow yourself to put in that work to from a mental health standpoint, like I did, then you can absolutely overcome anything. This is your life. Absolutely live it. May that be your New Year's resolution to all.
100%. And how are you and your family celebrating Christmas?
We are getting together tomorrow. It's my mum's turn to make the Christmas lunch.
That's the good time.
I was given the task of the bread for the table. And I think that they were trying to do me a favour because I had some heart issues. And I don't know if you guys can see my sticker marks, but I had to wear a Holter monitor. However, I think they just thought, oh, they'll be doing me a favour and I go to the supermarket and get some bread. But I'm such an overachiever. I'm like, no, I'll go to the supermarket, buy the ingredients, bake the bread, and now I've got like I don't know, 5, 6 loaves of this olive bread to bring to the Christmas table tomorrow. But that's what it's about, mucking in, being creative.
They should have said just to bring the champagne, and then there was nothing, unless you're going to
what am I going to do, like crush the grapes?
Yeah, exactly. That would do it. So just tell me about the song a little bit more. How long did it take to actually write it then?
Wow, not very long at all. I wish I had my phone on me because I'd be able to play you the voice memos. But like I said, in the drive to school is my son and I's magical moments. And
really?
Whether
it's when me and my children just scream and argue and have to do spelling tests. Well, I have to, it's when we do the spelling tests, and I'm not a very good teacher as lockdown taught
me. Way. Well, we do music history class, so we'll do like, I don't know, I'll pick like 5 of my favorite bands, for example, one week, and we'll be listening to them, and I'll say, okay, who do you like and what do you like about it? And then the next, it will be, you know, old school singer-songwriters. Everybody knows that I'm a big fan of Edit James. So anything to spark his imagination and creativity and openness to all genres. And
Even hardcore 90s hip hop, that's what I play
What, like?
in the car with the kids. And I have to just shout over the sweary bits.
I mean, no, it's fine. Look, I have a different stance on I'm sure it will sound quite controversial, but look, they're going to hear swear words, but it's about how to be like when to use them and when not to, and what it actually means. But yes, I understand. I'm like, no, slur, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I pulled into that parking lot one too many times with it blaring out. Parents being like, what are they doing? I'm like, it's fine, as Metallica's playing. But yeah, so we started having that conversation. And for those that don't know, I am a classically trained pianist. I started writing songs when I was 14 years old. I play the guitar. And it was not long ago that I found the courage to, through PTSD therapy, to get a piano for my home again, because it'd been such a long time. And my son and I had that conversation, and I just started tapping the steering wheel, not driving fast. I was very safe. We're both strapped in. It's okay. And we were just making a song up as we went along. And I started to cry, and I was thinking, why am I crying? This is because, in full transparency, because it's just myself and my son, and I'm a single mom, I always get so afraid that, especially with my health issues right now, what would happen? What would he have? And I just got so overwhelmed and emotional about it, because hanging up the pictures, just like we used to do, because every year my son and I will hang up the pictures of us and Santa from he's only 4, so it's been like a few years, but it got me really emotional, and I was looking at old pictures of, old family members, and the way that my parents, every year, we used to have, I never forget one year, my mom took my sister and I to Selfridges, I think it was, and there was a VHS video recorder. If my mom's watching, you have to find the tape and I'll post it. But it's about making those memories, and I couldn't finish the song without bawling my eyes out and thinking about loved ones and then people that are alone and wanting to... my son is very special, he's got a big heart, and trying to take that magic and put that into a song so everybody else could feel it. Very healing. Yeah. Well, and then he played the piano.
Well, that's what I was thinking, was that at least now you get to use your art to help with your emotions and to express yourself, and it really was a beautiful song. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My kids are slightly traumatised from going to Hamleys yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
So that will not be a special moment, and I'm glad that there's no videotape.
Do you ever do like shows together, like over Christmas?
No, I don't think that they want to be seen with me in public. Anyway, thank you so much, Katie. That really was great. Coming up after the break, I'm going to be discussing some fun festive stories with my wonderful panel, including the woman who charges her family for Christmas dinner and the parents who terrify their kids by dressing up as the Grinch and stealing all the presents. See you in 3.
Monday to Thursday nights on GB News. At 6, it's Dubes & Co. 7 o'clock, Farage. At 8, join Mark Stein. And at 9, Dan Wootton Tonight, followed by Headliners. On TV, radio and online. This is GB News.
Here on GB News Live, we'll be keeping you in the picture, finding out what's happening across the country and finding out why it matters to you. We'll have the facts fast with our team of reporters and specialist correspondents. Wherever it's happening, we'll be there from 12 noon on TV, radio and online. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Dubes & Co. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Dubes & Co.
We are GB News, the People's Channel.
Why not take us home with you by visiting the GB News shop at gbnews.store? You'll find all the official merchandise, a really good present actually for yourself, your friends or your family.
We ship across the UK mainland at no extra cost. GB News, the People's Channel.
I'm Mark White. As GB News Home and Security Editor, I cover those key issues that are so important to you. Our authorities, our communities doing all they can to combat violent crime. With the public services under unbearable strain, why are we still failing to control our borders? Defence, the first priority of any government, has been continually hollowed out. Can we trust our politicians to protect the armed forces? Join me, Mark White, on GB News.
We are GB News, right across the nation. You can get us on television, on radio, on digital. We're absolutely everywhere.
Amazing. You see, amazing.
You remind me of me in the European Parliament. But here's the most important bit. We are not part of the mainstream establishment. We think and speak just like you do. We are the People's Channel.
Magnificent. That's really, really thoughtful.
Come and join us on GB News, the People's News Channel.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Welcome back. It's time for my panel and I to delve into some of the festive stories which have been making the headlines this week. Let's start with this one. Caroline Dudridge from Cardiff has been in the news after it emerged that she has been charging her family for their Christmas dinner. Dudridge insists her 5 children pay the money into her account by December the 1st. Even the grandkids are factored in, with those over 5 charged a £5, while under 5s get away with £2.50. That sounds like a bargain to me.
Yeah.
Let's see what my panel makes of this. Now, Rebecca, is it I don't even know why I need to ask this question. Is it cool to charge your kids for Christmas dinner?
Oh, dear. Listen, right. So, I get where she's coming from. She's a pensioner. She's struggling.
She's got 5 kids.
Yeah, right. So, I get it. I see the argument for it. Personally, no. Like, my parents do so tomorrow, yes, I have to come back from here and then I have to go and do Christmas dinner for 10 people. And those people who are sharing Christmas dinner with me do so much for me all year round that I just prefer taking it on the head and actually let's just have a lovely time all together. And that's coming from the Grinch of the show tonight.
Yeah,
I completely disagree. I think she's spot on.
Oh, really?
She's elderly, money is tight. In fact, she shouldn't even have to charge. They should offer.
They
and if
should.
they're not going to
They
offer,
should.
and if they're not going to offer, she should charge. And quite frankly, 20 quid I think was a top cost, yeah? For Christmas dinner, full laid-on dinner, that's a bargain. And they should be ashamed of themselves.
But really, they should be inviting her, don't you think?
Well, there's always that.
It's the other way around. And also, but the problem with money exchanging is then there's a question of accountability. Do you get your money back? Are you allowed to complain? Is there a management? Who else can we go to if she's not pulling up the goods, or if she's taken your £2.55 or more for the adults and just gone to Iceland? I'm sorry, Mum, not good enough. Not good enough. I want to see what you've done from scratch.
If it's my mum, the 2 things would happen. A, it would be killer. And even if it wasn't, she'd say,
wouldn't be with mine.
on. If you don't like what you've got, good. No refunds, get out. Do you know what I mean? Look, they should be happy to give them... If my mum charged me 20 quid, I'd give her 40.
Ah, look at that. He's a good boy. But the thing is here, this is kind of a monetary equivalent of bring a dish, because people would do a bring a dish anyway. So tomorrow, for example, my sister's doing the cheese board, my other sister's doing desserts, and they'll bring their own drinks because I don't drink anymore. So things like that.
Sounds like there's a story there.
No, there always is. Yeah. Oh, there's a story everywhere in my life. But for that reason, she's just doing a kind of hard cash version of it and saying, right, look, pay the money. And actually, it's probably quite practical. I don't know why it's kind of been blown up. This kind of reminds me of those stories that you get about people who don't turn up to their kids' birthday parties and they then have to pay something, because they were like, you know, you remember those stories going around throughout the year? That, oh, you didn't turn up, we had his space for go-karting, so can you give us a 20 quid, please, because you didn't show. So it's not quite as kind of brutal as that. This is family saying, look, you're all at mine, let's all just chip in, let's have a nice time.
This feels terribly un-British.
Does it? Yeah. Well,
I mean, look, if you're going to offer to have Christmas dinner, then really that's everything.
I think there are more polite ways to bring a dish and everybody do something. To actually physically, it feels very American to just, you know, say, here you go, here's the cost of it, dears.
In which case, the mum is probably a control freak. That's what it is. He doesn't want anybody else cooking.
If my kids are watching this now, if they grow up and have children, have grandchildren, all that, if I'm entertaining them, I'm expecting payment. And what I will do, if it costs me 15 quid a head, I'll be chucking it out at 18 to 20 quid a head, yeah? So no opportunity to make something on top, because ultimately, as a grandparent, the grandkids are getting it all back anyway. But they should contribute. Their elderly mama shouldn't be putting out all her money for them. They should contribute.
I think they should voluntarily give it. And I think if my parents were doing it, I would definitely be offering to make a contribution, because it is a costly event.
Very costly. I just like the fact that at Christmas time, Christian Sean here wants to come out. House always wins. I want £3, £4.
When you're 18.
Those are words to live by. House always wins.
Right.
Jesus had a Jewish mother. There is no way that she was charging for dinner. She was just happy that he was there. That was it.
Cost of living crisis, I'm charging.
Okay.
Moving on, and it seems those kids who had to pay for Christmas dinner may have had it easy. Other kids have had to undergo the considerable trauma of having their parents stolen by their own parents, who disguise themselves as the Grinch in the bargain. Now, I don't know if you've seen these videos. It's become a bit viral, really, and people have been doing different versions of them. I mean, Sean, this seems unacceptable. Or is it giving you some ideas here?
See, now, this is unacceptable.
OK, this is. Okay.
Somebody once said to me, the job of a parent is to make your children not worry. This is the complete opposite of that notion. I don't think you should be terrorising children. Life is tough enough as it is. Give them a safe space that is you and your home. Don't terrorise them.
That's it. I mean, yeah, do you think this is child abuse, Rebecca?
God.
Have you seen the videos? The kids are, like, screaming. They're, like, really...
Yeah, they are very upset. Now then, listen, I'm a little bit... When I first read it, I first thought, do you know what? Kids today are a little bit too soft and they do need some...
Oh, wow, OK.
Yeah, unfortunately... No, because...
You really don't like Christmas.
No, I'm struggling tonight, aren't I? No, because we've got these woke generations coming through that, you know, you blow them sideways and that's it, they all take offence. So it's kind of a little bit of that for me, is that, like, OK, it should be a joke, but then actually, when you see it, it's pretty brutal. Don't mess around with Christmas, parents. Let your kids enjoy it, otherwise they'll turn up like me.
There it is.
Okay. Save it for Halloween.
I've seen these videos, and look, it's fine. Halloween's fine, because Halloween, the kids are expecting it, everyone's dressing up. This... And if you haven't seen the videos, you know, the Grinch will walk in, the kids are sitting on the sofa, they're freaked out, because obviously they don't know it's their dad or uncle, whoever it is, and just pointing at the presents and starts taking... It's horrible, actually, honestly, because you can see the kids are properly freaking out. And even, like, you see other ones where the parent is using an app to make them look like they've got a bear's head. And I remember the kid going, Daddy, don't, Daddy, stop. He goes, I'm not Daddy. And I'm like, what? Like,
it's crossing a line.
I think it is. And I'm all for, you know, little pranks and messing around. And I did the TikTok prank on the kids when you say, oh, there's a fight up the end of the road. I need you both to back me up. There's a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old. I'm going to fight the daddy. You got to fight the 6-year-old and 10-year-old. So I did that, right?
That sounds pretty mean too.
No, because what it is, you're not scaring them. You want to see their reaction. Are they going to get up and fight? Are they going to get you have it back?
That's a little bit scary.
The worst thing about this, Tommy, is you lost that fight. Anyway, let's finish with something a bit more heartwarming. Sarah and Steve Watkins are spending their Christmas Eve driving from South Wales to Surrey so a young man can spend Christmas with his mum. Jay Airy looked set to be stranded due to rail strikes, but thanks to the kindness of the Watkins, he can spend the big day with his mother, Michelle. Now, Tommy, that's a pretty good, feel-good story, right?
That is a feel-good story, but I think that just shows how loyal the Welsh are, you see? They're one of their own. They're like, no man left behind.
Oh, is that,
we're going to go and get him out of England.
Reason?
Yeah, they just don't want him in England.
Tribalism.
Tribalism. Absolutely. That shows Welsh spirit, the dragon spirit. That's what it's all about.
What do you think? Do you think there's not some Christmas spirit going on there, Sean?
Things like this restore my faith in mankind, in people to just do the right thing.
I mean, you wouldn't do it, but...
I might do, who knows?
You wouldn't do it.
But these are people who sat there and thought, we could do this. It won't be that big a deal for us. So let's make it happen, because it'd be good for them, and I really appreciate people doing stuff.
Now, Rebecca, do I even need to ask if you would do this?
I would, yeah.
Oh, really?
100%, yeah. So we used to do a thing, we haven't done it for a few years, but the girls actually used to help out at homeless shelters at Christmas time. So we always used to do something to give back at Christmas because I think that that's the best thing about Christmas. So yeah, I would actually do this. I think it's really good. When I read it, I was almost crying, for goodness sakes.
Oh,
no, I do. I think it's a lovely thing and I think that more people should do stuff like that.
I do. I think it's lovely. But saying that, I don't know if you read the update of that, but the mum has now charged him for Christmas.
No.
That's all for us in the first hour. Plenty to come after the break, specifically a second hour. For starters, former spin doctor Charlie Rowley will be here to tell us if he thinks the Tories will be enjoying their Christmas turkey, or if they are Christmas turkeys. See you shortly.
I'm Mark Dolan. Join me at 11 on GB News for Headliners, in which I'll be joined by two of the UK's top comedians discussing tomorrow's papers. If it's an important story, we'll cover it, but we'll have some fun along the way. Headliners, the late night paper review that won't send you to sleep like the others will. 7 nights a week at 11 p.m. on GB News.
Monday to Thursday nights on GB News. At 6, it's Dubes & Co. 7 o'clock, Farage. At 8, join Mark Stein. And at 9, Dan Wootton Tonight, followed by Headliners. On TV, radio and online. This is GB News.
Monday to Thursday, 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. Join me, Dan Wootton. I'll bring you the sharpest takes and hottest debates.
Do you not believe in prison? I don't believe in prison.
I'm completely stunned. I guarantee you there'll be no spin, no bias, no censorship.
I actually was personally quite offended by it.
And no reason to go to bed.
So I guess they've always been quite woke.
That's Dan Wootton Tonight on TV, radio and online. Monday to Thursday from 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Lawrence Fox, on GB News. Frank, fun, fearless, and sometimes serious, much as I love a Friday night punch-up, what I really want is a battle of ideas. I want to look at things differently. I want to hear different voices and engage with your unique experiences. Every Friday at 7 p.m. on GB News.
Hello, I'm Esther McVeigh.
And I'm Philip Davis.
Whether you're watching or listening on TV, online or on radio, we handpick the latest stories, debates and expert opinions for your weekend. So whether that's politics, news or showbiz, we've got it covered.
Join us every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock on GB News.
Join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. for Gloria Meets. In exclusive interviews, I'll be finding out who our politicians really are and what they really think.
It's something that you would never want anyone to suffer.
I didn't know what channels there were. I didn't think I'd be believed.
I must have weighed about 7 stone and I'm 5'8". My instincts was to sort of cover this up. I mean, clearly that was a mistake.
Join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hello there, it's Eamon Holmes here from Breakfast on GB News. We're not just on your television and your screens, you know.
We're on DAB plus digital radio, so you can listen to your favourite shows on the move.
If you've not yet listened to GB News Radio, it's very simple. We're on your radio player and TuneIn apps, on your smart speaker, phone or tablet, or online at gbnews.uk.
Take us with you wherever you go. GB News Radio.
You never have to miss a moment of the People's Channel.
Welcome back. Still to come on the show, will the Tories be celebrating this Christmas? Where should you buy last-minute presents? And I'll round up some big news stories with my brilliant panel. First, let's get the latest news from Tatiana Sanchez.
Josh, thank you. This is the latest from the GB newsroom. Clashes broke out for a second day in Paris between police and Kurdish protesters who were angry at the killing of 3 members of their community by gunmen. 3 people were arrested following these fresh riots, and police used tear gas to try to disperse the crowds. It's after riots broke out yesterday in the wake of the attack. Members of the community have gathered this morning close to where the incident happened. A 69-year-old man who was already known to police is now in custody in relation to the shooting. Wiltshire Police have confirmed a 4-year-old boy has died following a serious medical incident at Longleat Centre Parks. Emergency services were called to the resort at 11 o'clock this morning. The death isn't being treated as suspicious, but holidaymakers said the swimming pool there had been closed due to the incident. Rail strikes brought an early end to Christmas Eve services as passengers scrambled to get the last trains. The strike action is expected to cause heavy traffic for millions of people travelling to see their families for Christmas. Travellers heading abroad are also being warned of delays as Border Force officials walk out for a second day. Disruption at UK airports was brought under control yesterday as the military stepped in to replace workers on strike. Trains in Scotland have stopped running until after Christmas as the latest round of railway workers' industrial action gets underway. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have reacted to the apology made by the Sun newspaper on behalf of Jeremy Clarkson, calling it nothing more than a PR stunt. In the article written by Mr Clarkson, he said he hated Meghan. That article has become the Independent Press Standards organisation's most complained about piece. Yesterday, The Sun said it regrets publishing it and they've said it's sincerely sorry. The Sussex's spokeswoman said the newspaper hasn't contacted Meghan to apologise. Well, Mr Clarkson said he was horrified to have caused so much hurt. Forecasters are predicting a white Christmas for the Highlands with as much as 10 centimetres of snow expected to fall. A yellow weather warning for snow and ice is in place for most of the Highlands, running from tomorrow night until 6 p.m. on Boxing Day. Meanwhile, unsettled weather is expected for the rest of the UK, with downpours forecast in most other places over the Christmas weekend. The Environment Agency has issued 66 alerts for possible flooding in England. TV, online and DAB+ radio. This is GB News. Now it's back to Tonight Live with Josh Howie.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Christmas Eve special of Tonight Live with me, Josh Howie. Coming up in the second hour of tonight's show, it may be a festive time of year, but have the government got anything to celebrate? Former Special Advisor Charlie Rowley will be here with us to tell us what he thinks in the state of play for the Tories right now. If you still haven't purchased all your presents yet, don't panic. You still have plenty of time-ish. We'll have a retail expert on to tell us where you can still pick up some bargains. We're going to have a laugh at politicians' lame Christmas cards and, of course, plenty more chat with my amazing panel of comedian and TV presenter Tommy Sandu, Rebecca Jane, the broadcaster and deputy leader of UKIP, and Sean Bailey, the former Conservative candidate for mayor. I think you've been promoted this evening to Prime Minister. And don't forget, we want to hear from you, wonderful viewers, of course. gbnews@gbviews.uk. How is your Christmas Eve going? Let's talk politics now, and the Tories enter the festive season in the unusual position of having stuck with the same leader for a whole 2 months. However, they are trailing in the polls, and with strikes continuing and the economy struggling, can Prime Minister Rishi Sunak really enjoy the festive season? Joining me now to discuss this, I am delighted to welcome the former Special Advisor to Michael Gove, Charlie Rowley. Good evening, Charlie.
Hi, evening.
So, what do you think? Do you think it's going to be looking brighter in 2023 for the Tories, or is it going to be more of the same?
No, I think, well, it can't get any worse, I don't think. So I think it's the
only way is up.
The only way is up. This is a season of goodwill to all men, as the saying goes, and I think the public will start to see in 2023 what a government under Rishi Sunak really looks like. He has come into a job under turbulent circumstances after Liz Truss with a flatlining economy. And obviously the debacle over after Boris Johnson left Downing Street. So Rishi has come in a very, very difficult situation. And I think the public will, as I say, start to see what it's like to be under his reign, as it were, as Prime Minister. And we'll start to see the economy improve. We'll start to see the cost of living issues be tackled, inflation coming down, and the government actually dealing with issues that the public really care about.
Well, we've had a lot of strikes, obviously ruining Christmas for many. What do you think in the new year the chances are of actually getting some deals signed?
Well, I think a credit to Rishi Sunak and the government, because it shows just how tough and strong this government is going to be. We're not going to be run by the union barons like Mick Lynch that has destroyed Christmas for millions of families, it has to be said. People who want to go home at a time like this and celebrate with their friends and family are unable to do so because the unions have decided that they want to cause as much misery at this particular time when they could do it at another time if they chose to, but they've chosen to do it over Christmas. And I do regret that for millions of people and millions of families across this country. But the government has shown strength in its resolve to tackle the economic crisis that we face. We can't just give away money where it isn't in the coffers. Everybody is feeling a bit of a pinch, is feeling the squeeze, is suffering. But as I say, once the new year comes into fruition, hopefully, if the government delivers on its economic forecasts and targets, inflation will start to come down, those cost of living pressures will be released, and we'll start to see that support and that growth in the economy, which is what we all want to see.
Well, I guess that's what Rishi Sunak and the Conservatives are counting on, because I'm guessing that people will remember this, and if the idea is that not giving these pay rises to keep inflation low, if it does increase, then this may well have backfired. This certainly, you don't think there's going to be political blowback from not talking to the nurses?
Well, I think it is it's a different situation. I think with the medical profession and those in the NHS. I think figures that are out last week have demonstrated that even just a 1% pay increase to those that are already in the service could recruit 16,000, 70,000 extra nurses. So it's not just about pay, it's about the conditions of which the people who are on the front line and do so much for all of us in this country. It's about making sure that they have, yes, the pay, but also the right working conditions and the most appropriate working conditions to allow them to do the fantastic job that they do. So that's about investing in new technology. It's about recruiting more people, more training places, as well as pay. All of that is a package. And that's why the government has had an independent pay review body to look at pay. It's agreed with that independent pay review body. It's the unions that haven't. So a conversation needs to...
Well, of course, the unions say that it's somewhat outmoded and not fit for purpose. But this has been a long-term problem. This isn't just happening this Christmas. I mean, this massive deficiency of employees in the NHS, I mean, they are massively understaffed. Surely, what's going to change now? I mean, we had this problem a year ago. We had this problem 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Why is it going to get sorted now, do you think?
Well, I think as I mentioned before, I think the Health Secretary was out on the airwaves last week talking about what needs to happen in the NHS. There needs to be the new technology that comes in. There needs to be more training places available for people to take up those roles in the NHS. It's about retaining people that might want to leave the NHS. We had a lot of doctors and nurses that came back to support the NHS during COVID, where the NHS demonstrated why it is the most valuable asset in this country. It did so much to protect us. They were the people on the front line.
They would argue they're not getting paid.
Well, and
accordingly,
and that's why I think there is a bit more sympathy with the nurses and those that are on working in the ambulance service, and those who were on strike last week, who have ultimately actually called off another strike. Those ambulance workers and paramedics, because they understand that a point has been made. Conversations do need to continue. I'm sure they will in the new year. But I think everybody understands the economic circumstances that we find ourselves in.
Yeah, I mean, what about Labour? I mean, is this their merriest Christmas for quite a long time, I think? The polls aren't massively shifting.
I think that's fair to say. But I think that's probably because of a mess of the previous Conservative sort of party's own making, rather than any ambition or any kind of home runs that Labour are making. I think Labour in the new year also have to present policies for this country. They could be the next government. I don't think that's going to happen because I think the longer that you see Rishi Sunak as Prime Minister, the more that you'll see policies coming forward that the government are doing to tackle what is really important to this country. And the more they see of him, the more they'll like him. And it will be a very, very interesting 2023, 2024.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's a waiting game, isn't it? We'll see if Rishi steps up. We'll see if having some consistency will help the Tories. And what about yourself? What are you going to be getting up to over Christmas?
Getting very merry.
Getting very merry. Okay, you're going to be just getting very drunk then.
Merry. But we had our family Christmas dinner sort of yesterday. We came together. So tomorrow we'll just be with probably more friends.
Oh, well, you're ahead of the game. Let's have a quick chat with my panel now. Rebecca, are the Tories on the up or facing plenty more misery? What do you think?
Say that again, dear.
Do you think that the Tories actually are up, or do you think that really it's over for them?
It's completely over for them. What a ludicrous question.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there is nothing left for them to give. It is absolute shambles after shambles, and I think we are going to talk about it soon, about obviously Rishi going to this homeless shelter and the absolute farce that he made of that as well. I've got nothing good to say about them. I haven't for a very, very long time, but you're talking to the deputy leader of UKIP, so I'm not going to be very positive about the Conservatives, am I?
Well, let's speak to an actual Conservative then, Sean. What do you think?
Conservative.
An actual one.
An actual Conservative.
I'll say this: the longer Rishi's Prime Minister and the more questions they ask Keir Starmer is when you'll start to realise actually we can't have the Labour Party. Look at this nonsense that happened in Scotland with the gender bill.
Oh, yeah.
Where's Keir Starmer?
That's not on him, though, is it?
Yeah, but he said that he's suggesting he'll bring it here to England.
I think that was more a Telegraph headline than the actual...
Well, let's see. Let's see. Where is he on this? He couldn't identify a woman earlier in the year, so...
I agree with you. That was ridiculous.
What's he saying about the migrant crisis? What's he saying about the cost of living? He's saying absolutely nothing. And what will happen is, when an election comes, people have to weigh up the troubled... And let's be clear, there has been trouble in the Tory party, I won't lie, but that'd be ridiculous. The troubled Tory party against an absolutely nothing Labour Party. And if you're sat here now and you're thinking about UKIP and other people, just be very careful, but by registering a protest vote, you don't give us a Labour government, because a Labour government now, at this tough time, would be the end of this nation.
Handbrake.
So two people agree, but I see three faces probably nodding away there. Tommy, what do you think?
Right, so these guys are proper politic heads in that respect. So as you're representing the average Joes, very average, probably even below average, some would say. I'd say the problem we've got is these are really testing times. These are really quite unique times. Even in my life, I'm 46 years old, it feels like there's more things, more cracks, more problems in life and the way in which this country is run than we've ever seen before. So will it be a smooth run for Rishi over Christmas? No. Will it be a smooth 2023? Probably not. But there's a lot of mending that needs to be done, and the average person like me just wants to see people living and enjoying life. I see so many people living in fear or worries, and I think I want that to change. When I think back to my childhood of the 80s and people playing out in the streets and the laughter and people talking over the fences, I feel like all of that's gone. What happened to Great Britain? We've all just become so brittle. It's Great Brittle now. It's just I want to get that strength back. My parents got on a boat here for a reason. God damn it! Can we get it back to what it was, please? Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Look, let's hear from our guest, Charlie. You get the last word. Do you think that Rishi is able to do what Tommy says there, get the great back in Britain, or the Brit in Britain, or the... What was it you were saying, Tommy? The Brit, I don't know, whatever he said.
I think I was just rambling, to be honest, Josh, but thanks for that.
The answer, 100% yes. I mean, Rishi is a brilliant communicator. He's been the Chancellor of the Exchequer of this country. He knows how to manage the nation's finances. We will see a recovery, hopefully, next year, but people will start to see things improve under his leadership, and I think it will be, as Sean said, if it's the choice between Labour under Sir Keir Starmer or Rishi's Conservative Party, it will be a Rishi Sunak that will be leading the country for a bit longer than what people might think.
Okie dokie. I'm not so sure, but thank you very much for coming in anyway. Have a great Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You too, mate. After the break, if you still haven't got all your presents yet, an expert will be joining us with a few ideas, and we'll see what my producers came up with when they were tasked with hunting down some last-minute bargains.
Monday to Thursday, 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. Join me, Dan Wootton. I'll bring you the sharpest takes and hottest debates.
Do you not believe in prison? I don't believe in prison.
I'm completely stunned. I guarantee you there'll be no spin, no bias, no censorship.
I actually was personally quite offended by it.
And no reason to go to bed.
So I guess they've always been quite woke.
That's Dan Wootton tonight on TV, radio and online. Monday to Thursday from 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Every morning from 6 o'clock, we'll wake you up with GB News Breakfast with all the stories you didn't know from the night before.
So whether it's serious news, entertainment, or your own views from all over our great nation, we're here to kick off your day with a smile.
The national media should be reflecting and reporting what's happening here.
You will notice the northwestern accents.
Whether you're with us on TV, radio, or online, every morning, it's breakfast from 6 a.m. Hope you can join us.
Join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. for Gloria Meets. In exclusive interviews, I'll be finding out who our politicians really are and what they really think.
It's something that you would never want anyone to suffer.
I didn't know what channels there were. B, I didn't think I'd be believed.
I must have weighed about 7 stone and I'm 5'8". My instincts was to sort of cover this up. I mean, clearly that was a mistake.
Join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hello there, it's Eamon Holmes here from Breakfast on GB News. We're not just on your television and your screens, you know.
We're on DAB plus digital radio, so you can listen to your favourite shows on the move.
If you've not yet listened to GB News Radio, it's very simple. We're on your radio player and TuneIn apps, on your smart speaker, phone or tablet, or online at gbnews.uk.
Take us with you wherever you go. GB News Radio.
You never have to miss a moment of the People's Channel.
My name's Tom Harwood and join me 9:30 a.m. every weekday for The Briefing, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about what's going on in politics today.
I wonder if this is a deal that might need to be like the biscuits in this factory, twice baked.
Is there not an opportunity here to win out against the extremes?
Tom Harwood, GB News.
What are you going to do about it?
Things should have been done differently, and they certainly are being done differently.
Don't miss it. The Briefing with me, Tom Harwood, 9:30 Monday to Friday on GB News.
Hello, I'm Simon Evans. Join me on GB News for Headliners at 11 p.m, where I'll be joined by two of the country's top comedians as we take a look at tomorrow's newspapers tonight. If it's a big story, we'll be covering it, I guarantee, but we'll also have some fun along the way. That's GB News Headliners at 11 p.m. We won't put you to sleep, unlike some of the other paper review shows out there. So join us, 11 p.m, 7 nights a week.
Welcome back. So Christmas Day is mere hours away, and I am sure there are some of you viewers who still have a bit of shopping left to do. But where on earth are you supposed to get decent gifts at this late hour? Joining me now with a few ideas is retail expert and the author of She Made It Happen, Anna Davidson. Hello, Anna. You can hear me?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Now, Anna, have you finished your Christmas shopping?
I have. I was very organised this year. I did it all in Black Friday weekend, so I'm one of those annoying people that was really organised.
Well, you are an expert, but why do you think people do leave Christmas shopping to sow the last minute?
I think probably this year in particular, people are like worried a little bit about spending, so it's kind of all been a little bit last minute for that reason. And I think the mails are a little bit last minute. I know that my dad was running around on Christmas Eve earlier on today trying to find things for everybody. So
see, I thought you were meaning the Royal Mail as opposed to males, men. No, you mean men.
Well,
X chromosome.
Men. So yes, we have had Royal Mail as well let us down, haven't we? And a lot of the other logistics companies, which has been a lot of pressure, especially for online retailers. It's been a bit of a nightmare, I think, this quarter for shopping.
So for anybody whose packages haven't arrived yet, do you have any recommendations for very last minute Christmas presents?
Well, it is a challenge because we are also on a bank holiday weekend. So it's very rare that we have Christmas on a Sunday. And so most stores are closed tomorrow. And then, of course, we've got the bank holiday Monday. And there's a lot of retailers, such as H&M and places like that are actually closing on Monday. I think there's Next, there's Waitrose, there's Argos that are still going to be, open for the bank holiday, Boxing Day bargains that we're always expecting. There are a lot of retailers this year that are actually planning to close on Boxing Day, which is a bit of a shame for us that are looking for bargains. Because I noticed that Boots were having a 50% sale earlier on today. So if you like shopping at Boots, and Next was also another one, and Zara as well. I love my clothes. So Zara has started their sale earlier on Christmas Eve because we're on a bank holiday weekend. So I think you're going to be cutting it fine if you guys, I know I'm acting a little bit sexist tonight, but for women, maybe let's even it out. If you have left it to last minute, you've probably only got an hour or so. You're going to have to get yourself down to like your express supermarkets like Waitrose, or maybe Tesco's or Sainsbury's and get out there. Or you could even go to WH Smith or M&S, but you're going to have to find a service station because it's very rare that we have a year like this where we're on a bank holiday. You could also go to a local hotel. Maybe your wife loves, spending time at a hotel. You've got spa vouchers that you could go out to. But you're going to be, you've literally probably got an hour, if that, to go and find your present.
Do not tell our audience to turn off the telly and go and buy some presents. We need them. That's what we need. But that is a good idea. Petrol station. Wait for the petrol station. Anything good in the petrol station that you could recommend? They've got everything, don't they? Batteries.
So yeah, well, exactly. Go to the service station. They're open from 8 till 4 tomorrow, and all of the service stations. We kind of slag off our service stations, don't we? But actually, you've got WH Smith, you've got M&S. Some of them also have. Costa and Starbucks, they also do little gifts. You have actually got a few little options if you kind of get creative. I think you've got to be creative to do this in the next
gift
couple of
vouchers,
hours.
I think, is also a very good idea. Putting someone a 50 quid Amazon voucher or something. Also, you could do that, but if anyone does this to me, I'm going to go insane, where you donate some money in their name. Surely that doesn't count as a Christmas present.
Well, I'll leave that one to you. Although you've just given me another idea. There are a lot of online providers, such as Amazon, PlayStation, that you can actually text that voucher to someone directly. So you still have time to actually show that you care. And I think that's the point of, you've got to be kind of creative at this last minute, but just remember that a lot of places are closed tomorrow and also on Monday as well.
You can save on wrapping paper. Just send them get a text.
Exactly. It's the thought that counts, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, did you manage to get any deals yourself this year? Did you utilise that 50% of Boots to get that glowing skin I see before me?
I did actually, because Boots had these bargains all week. And I'm a brand owner myself, so I do a lot of online e-commerce. That's my sort of speciality. And knowing that, I think it's around about 30-35% of people have been not shopping in offline stores this year. But because of the postal problems that we've had in the last, month or so, actually a lot more people have been getting out there and getting in stores. So I think the last few weeks, there's been an increase in sales in offline stores, which is great to see.
That's fascinating, actually. I hadn't considered that impact on the rail strikes, the post strikes at all. So that's good for shops, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. And I mean, is this going to be a regular thing, starting the sales before Christmas, Boxing Day sales? I mean, it feels like the shops at the moment are never off a sale.
Exactly. I think Next have always done this. Next have always started their sale on Christmas Eve. But I think a lot of the other retailers are copying now and kind of following suit, such as Boots. I noticed Zara were doing it. M&S as well were having some discounts on some of their scarves that were half price. So a lot of people offline retailers are bringing it earlier. And Amazon have always had that, kind of opportunity on discounts.
Well, you call it opportunity. I call it emptying my bank balance. Anyway, thank you so much to retail expert Anna Davison. Have a lovely Christmas, and thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Have a great Christmas.
You too. Merry Christmas. OK, let's get a real-world example going on of last-minute Christmas shopping, and I'm going to see what my panel think of these gifts that the production team went out and got. Sophia and Rebecca, they were out today hunting for bargains. There they are there. They're looking they have a lot of faith in what they got. Let's see how they got on. Right, panel members, let's go for the first thing here. This is a Darth Vader soap. This is from Lush, I guess. That's good for the sort of the geek. This is sort of a two-pronged present here, because I guess it's good for someone who likes a bit of science fiction, and it's likely that they smell.
Well, I was about to say how much I like the idea. I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I've read about 50 of the novels, but now you've just told me I smell. I'm not so sure anymore. But I think that's a great present. It's the kind of nonsense kids give to their dads to keep them quiet.
Well, that's it. So the production team went out to the train station. So a lot of this stuff, Lush and W.H. Smith, and I was just saying, Boots, this is the kind of stuff that you can get there. W.H. Smith, I'm not sure about this one row, Rebecca. This might be the rubbishest present I've seen. A cookie cutter. I don't know, if someone gave me that, how would you feel about this? This would probably make you feel like you'd have to actually make some cookies. That's not a present, is it?
It would be a no from me.
This is it. You're not. This is
hard pass.
No, Christmas Eve is when everyone's making their biscuits, because you're making your biscuits for Santa. So I know my kids were doing that earlier on today. So it's a great present. It's probably just going to come too late if you give it to him tomorrow.
Well, that's it. Maybe that's how Santa gets around. Not on the tube at the moment, though, of course. Now, these are for... Surely this is the best GB News gloves in existence. This is... I think, where was this from? Is this W.H. Smith as well? No, I don't know where this... Oh, it was from a souvenir shop. Yeah, you know what? Those shops are always open. Head into centre of town, you can get some fingerless gloves. What about you, Sean? Do you think you might have won?
Oh, listen.
Do you think you would have won the mayoral campaign if you wore these gloves?
There's nothing I hate more than fingerless gloves.
Ooh.
The whole point of gloves is to keep your hands cold. The coldest part of your hand is always the tip, and those silly things, they've even got a tip on the finger. They're the worst thing in the world. Do you know what they would do? They use them for kindling. They're useless.
Wow, I've never heard you speak that passionately about anything apart from a Labour government coming into power. Right, now these I might have to teeth for my daughter here. We've got a few little hairband things. Look, little girl, anybody loves it. I mean, girls, could be boys, no judgment. I don't actually, I was saying that, Tommy, this might... Actually, Tommy and Sean, I'm seeing one of these...
On us? Yeah, I noticed you said hairband stuff.
Yeah,
that
counts me out.
We've got nothing to offer here. I you know, if I wore that, it's like now and then when I use a hairdryer when I'm at the swimming baths, just for novelty. I could do that exactly. I think you're sporting it very well. Look at that.
Thank you.
You bring a bring a certain.
I feel like it gives me a certain gravitas, a bit of dignity.
Yeah,
whatever. Let's see what else. Now this. If I got that, that's an insult. This is from a service station. If you've got some Tic Tacs, that's not a good sign. If you're getting that at Christmas, someone is giving you a message, surely.
They're telling you they don't like you much, is what they say.
Well, I mean, and that possibly you need to brush your teeth more.
Yeah. Or that you're overweight, because I know they're only 1 calorie a Tic Tac, something like that. So they're giving you a low-calorie breath freshener.
Wow.
So they're not saying nice things.
You're reading into this. And also we have... Now, this I would actually be quite happy to get. What do you think, Rebecca? Would you be happy with some batteries?
What is it?
They're some Duracell batteries. They're very expensive.
Why are you suggesting that I'm a battery?
Well, I think
Josh.
we know what...
Yeah, Josh.
That conversation that we were having before the show.
She doesn't look like the remote control type of
You were talking about how you go through batteries so quickly.
Really? Was that me or your wife?
She got me!
Fired.
No, that is USB. Anyway... Some very good presents there. And we also got some more. So we've got a Santa. This is a nice little Christmas. But you know, the problem is, this is a Santa bomb, a Santa shower bath bomb, whatever. But these presents annoy me because I feel like they're utterly useless the rest of the year. You know what I mean? It's like they're just buying you tat.
Well, just make sure you use it quickly. And I do like a bath bomb. I'll be soaking a bath, couple of candles, bath bomb. Yeah, of course.
Nope.
Does wonders for your skin. That looks like a great present. I'll take that away at the end of the show.
And this is, of course, for our regular viewers, the Britain's best political cartoons there. Picture of Boris Johnson on the front. That was from W.H. Smith's. Obviously, now we can declare, because we showed this book, that we are a serious news show. Very important.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much, panellists. We'll go to a break now where we're going to divvy this up between all of us. Coming up after the break, though, PM Rishi Sunak heads to a homeless centre and strikes the wrong note, plus a few dodgy Christmas cards for us to have a giggle at. See you in 3. I'm keeping this.
We are GB News, and we'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you for bringing us your conversations, for helping our great nation find its voice. We are here for you on radio, television, and online, across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland.
It's not the BBC, you actually get your facts right.
We are proud to be GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
Monday to Thursday on GB News, it's Bev Turner Today from 10 a.m. We're going to be here for you, our GB News family, to keep you up to date, but also make you smile.
There's a guy who went from puberty to adultery.
And I can't wait to bring a few of my own opinions.
I have no time for cultural totalitarianism.
We'll engage in passionate, but always polite debate, with your thoughts and opinions at the centre of it all. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akue, Saturday and Sunday afternoons on GB News. Expect fiery debate and passionate discussion as me and my panel tackle some of the biggest topics hitting the headlines. It's a place for everyone's opinion. No one gets cancelled, but no one gets an easy ride.
Oh, she's on it today!
Be ready for conversations that are fierce, frank, and of course, fun. Every Saturday and Sunday afternoon from 4 p.m. on GB News, the People's Channel.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. You've been cancelled. Join the club. Oh my goodness me. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
We are GB News, the People's Channel.
And right across the United Kingdom.
You can find us on Sky Channel 512,
Virgin Media Channel 604,
Freesat Channel 216,
Freeview Channel 236,
and YouView Channel 236.
You can also take us with you on DAB Plus Radio,
with the GB News app and at the website gbnews.uk.
We're absolutely everywhere. Come join us on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. Let's read some more emails now. Derek Sevenoaks, whilst my wife Lizzie is out with the girls, he's written girls in, I don't know if that means that they're identifying as girls or if he just means that they're not really girls, they're old women. No. There is nothing better than watching GB News, eating mince pies and having a mint Baileys. Oh, mate, class. I love it. Happy Christmas from Kent. Happy Christmas to you, Derek. David, here, slightly sad here. Dear GB News, I am alone in all senses of the word, and I just want to thank you for helping me through Christmas. That's, you're not alone, mate. Absolutely not alone at all. We're here. I know you've got other people in your life as well who love and care for you, and Merry Christmas. Thank you for sending in that email. Graham, it's so nice you've given a voice to Katie, who sang her beautiful song earlier, of course. It's so sad to hear what the girl has been through. Listening to her has changed my whole opinion of her. And she's a really nice girl. She absolutely is. She's beautiful. We chatted before. She's lovely. Her kid is well, he didn't really warm to me, but I tried. I really tried. I was like, do you want a hot chocolate? I tried everything. I tried all the skills. It's like, mate, no, it was not good. He sensed something within me that he didn't like. It's quite painful, actually. But anyway, happy Christmas, Katie. That's what he says here. And that mirrors on Paul here. He says, could I have the lyrics to Katie's song, please? He loves that song. Well, actually, you know what? Terrible presenting here, but I did not mention that song, I believe, is on Spotify and various other places, and that you can actually buy it for, I don't know, 8-9p, and the money goes to charity. It's called Believe, so just Google that, and hopefully you can find the lyrics as well, or email her website and whatever. But yes, it was very impressive. And Audrey, let's do one more. Merry Christmas, GB News and Christmas guests. Looking to a positive new year. And she's done a little I'm guessing that's... What does that look like? It's a tree.
Christmas
Is it a
tree.
tree?
Yeah, it's a Christmas tree.
Not an aubergine.
No.
There's nothing sexual.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
It's a sexy, it's a sexy Christmas tree, though.
It's always in my mind. Right, we normally take a look at tomorrow's papers about now, but for some reason there are no papers tomorrow. Plenty of stories still to discuss, including PM Rishi Sunak asking a homeless man whether he works in business. It's a great clip. Let's take a look.
That's that. That's can't really let me get with the economy out. Well, that is exactly what I'm trying to do. Exactly what I'm trying to do. There's for business. What do you have? Do you work in a business? Do you want some? No, I'm homeless, and I'm actually a homeless person at the minute. But I'm interested in business. Yeah. What kind of business? I like finance. It's good for the city, and when finance and stuff's doing well, we'll do well, don't we, in London? So yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. So I used to work in finance, actually. Yeah, I heard. Yeah. Ex-investment bank. Yeah, well, I did lots of different things, but you're right, because I think the good thing now is it's not just London. If you look at all the jobs in finance around the UK, the majority of them are outside of London now. Yeah.
Well, that's made my Christmas. That's a great clip. Rebecca, is there a concern that Rishi is just a teeny-weeny bit out of touch with the less wealthy members of our society?
Isn't that an embarrassment? Yes, he is absolutely... He operates for the 1% when, obviously, there is the 99% to consider and he doesn't even remotely think about them. That was atrocious. I felt so awful for the poor man. He was on national television, for goodness sakes. He actually said to him, would you like to get into finance? I'm sure he'd just like to get through the day, let alone get into finance. What on earth are you talking about, you out of touch? Blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah. Sean, I'm looking forward to hearing you defend this.
Go on.
He's got his work cut out for him. I see that sweat forming on your forehead.
What I'll say is this. When you run for office, you have to do with a wide range of people. I remember running for Mayor of London. One of the things that came across me very quickly was it's easy for me because I'm a Londoner and the common touch, I'm a common person. It comes easy for me. I think some people need practice. They need time. And you sometimes see in their conversations reflected the only conversations they've been having and who they've been having them with. I'm very fortunate. I come from a much broader set of conversations and very quickly learned to have the conversation with the upper echelon and the normal people was who I am. So it was a problem. Having said all that, I think Rishi needs practice, is what I think.
He does need practice. Although his serving, I thought, Tommy, was pretty good. And you know what? He gave a good breakfast there.
Bang on. Good portion. He piled it high. Because I thought if he'd put the toast on a side plate, it becomes tricky to carry with the drink. He was thinking But he just kind of, he laid it all out. It's like in the same way all the bills are piling up in our lives, the same way all the breakfast was piling up on the plate. So I think there was like a deeper level that he was operating on. And also, by the way, this is the way my stupid brain works, Josh, and I hope you appreciate this. If you listen to the clip again and hear him say, I used to work with fine ants, right? Like really special little ants.
Okay.
Right? Listen, it's a different clip.
I think you need to work for the government's press office.
Yeah, can I go? No, he wasn't about finance. He goes, I used to work with fine ants. And I think that is a whole... your mind goes somewhere else. So you don't get caught up in all that stuff.
Online, everybody's jumped on this clip today.
Yeah, they have.
And I do feel a little bit sorry for him. He was out there. I know it was a photo opportunity and all of that, but he was doing something good.
And most importantly, if you've got a PM, right, if you pick for your PM to understand that something, it would be the upper end, it'd be all of our money. You're talking about a man who's dealing with hundreds of billions of pounds of our money. You do want him to understand that. I wish that he and hope that he will develop a bit more of a broader sort of lexicon to speak to people, but his expertise are the expertise that this country needs.
But he doesn't care. That is not a man caring about the homeless people and serving them. That's a man doing a PR stunt. Why do you feel sorry for him? I'm intrigued.
Why for Rishi? It's like just seeing someone like anybody who would close their hand on a door or something like that. It's like a wounded animal. Yeah, it is painful to watch. I don't think, like I think a lot of politicians do. They think that, well, people do about politicians that they're all evil. No, I don't think that any of that. I think people are out there. Yes, ego becomes involved and various other factors, but I don't think any politician goes out to create harm, shall we say.
Yeah,
I mean, apart from some of the obvious examples out there. But I don't feel like he's necessarily has malicious intent. It's just whether he's the right person for the job.
No, he's just got a really bad PR advisor, just like Boris Johnson did. Have a picture, for goodness sakes, but don't let him sit there and talk to people. No. That's where it went wrong for me.
I take your point that maybe not public conversations, but if you are genuine about politics, you do need to speak to people who you don't know. Like if I was
not on telly.
No, I was the other way around, so they had to drag me around around the city and have city folk explain where all the billions come from. Well, and I did it because it's an important part of helping all of London. An important part of being a PM is understanding how the very poorest are suffering. You must understand that because you could get trapped in just moving around big billions and billions, but actually you're moving around those billions to help the people at the very bottom end, and you do need to understand that.
So, Rishi, you heard it here. Just come and hang out at my local McDonald's with me during the day and we'll have a few conversations and set you right. Time to look at some festive cards sent out this year by the great and the good. Now, it's always tricky. Do you send a picture of yourself clothed or unclothed? That mitigation aside, we can probably all agree that former Home Secretary Priti Patel may have got this one wrong. Let's take a look. Oi, oi, oi. So, there we go. If you can see there, she's Priti. She's a fairy at the top of the tree dispensing delights such as a points-based immigration system, national security and Rwanda. Left-wingers will be queuing up to buy this one, I'm sure. Sean, were you on Priti's Christmas card list?
That's the first time I've seen the card. I see what she's getting at. She's basically trying to remind people of what she did. But you're right. If the Guardian readers of this world would have been foaming at the mouth at that. But do you know what? That's probably her intention.
Really, you just think it was... Yeah, but Christmas, you don't want to make people angry, surely.
Oh, it depends.
Yeah.
She doesn't mind.
One thing I've learned in life is you don't advertise what you want to say on your baubles. And I think if you do that, you're asking for trouble. Particularly around Christmas time. It's strange.
It's not exactly goodwill to all mankind, is it, Rebecca?
It's an odd take.
It's narcissistic as they come. What on earth are you doing thinking that you are on the top of the tree and you've got all these baubles of embarrassment underneath you? You've failed at every single one of those things that's below you. So what on earth are you doing? You're supposed to be a politician, not a laughing stock, and you've done it to yourself.
Yeah, so you think that one's massively backfired then?
Well, I don't think I'm a fan.
Well, it could be she has an incredibly self-deprecating sense of humour, but I doubt it.
You can't, not in the position that you're in. Stop it.
Well, she can now. She's not Home Secretary anymore.
Yeah, but still.
It could be she's hoping to go on the next season of I'm a Celebrity or something. This could be her calling card.
Of course.
Let's have another Christmas card deep dive. This time, the first, actually, from our new king. And in this one, he's keeping it minimalist. Let's take a look. Now, Rebecca, this has been carefully thought out here. I mean, what do you think they're trying to say? So it's wishing you a very happy Christmas and New Year. We've got a very simple photo. You know what I like about this, Rebecca, is he doesn't even need to say who it's from. He's just like, you know what I mean? He's just putting it out there. He's like, you know who I am. Yeah. You know who this is. You know who we are. That's a power play, surely.
No, I don't think he chose the picture because that's a good picture of Camilla.
Well, unless he's a very smart husband.
No, and he's not looking at the camera. It's like my missus will always upload pictures where she looks good, and I'm like half asleep or whatever, like lips all off.
Okay.
Whereas, so that's a good picture of her, not a great one of him. But that card tells me she's running the show.
In control. Well, I hope that he finds a pen to sign it. Now, some of our GB News favourite names. It would not be the Tonight Show without them. The Sussexes! Yeah, they've also released their Christmas card, or should I say, holiday season card. They are despicable! Just getting in the tune of the seat. So, joyful holiday season. That's a lovely photo. I think they both look very handsome and pretty. Best wishes. I don't know what the message is there. I'm imagining it. Oh, gosh. They're giving money on behalf of the foundation and this and that, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? That's kind of a classy card. Looks all right to me. What do you think?
I disagree.
Oh, really? Okay.
It should say Christmas. It should say Christmas.
You think it should say Christmas?
It should say Christmas. It's Christmas season. It's not a holiday season, all that.
Well, there's a lot of other holidays going on.
Hold on. What's very interesting about people of faith, like when my neighbours celebrate Eid and Diwali, they want it spoken about in a way. They're not afraid of Christmas. They don't feel left out because of Christmas. They have their own celebration, and we celebrate that as well.
So that inclusiveness. Maybe if they'd written, what about like Christmas and Hanukkah and this and that happens to be going around the time.
People are not sitting at home nervously thinking they're missing out, right? Yeah. What they should talk about is their tradition of who they are, and it should say Christmas. That's the first thing. Secondly, we couldn't read the words, but if the words say anything about what they're doing, that's a distinct lack of class. The real story of Christmas is to give without reward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So and actually, it's the first year. This card's caused a hoo-ha because it's the first year that their children haven't featured. So in previous years, they've always had Archie or Lilibet in the shots, and this is the year it's just them. And what does that tell you about what's going on right now and what messages they're putting out there?
I feel like their children probably have featured enough. They feature enough. Surely they don't even need to put out a card.
They always have the right to keep their privacy, particularly their children's privacy.
Yeah, well, look, I respect that, absolutely. Time now for another break, but when we get back, my hard-working panel will be revealing their Great Britons and their Union Jackasses. See you soon.
Monday to Thursday nights on GB News. At 6, it's Dubes & Co. 7 o'clock, Farage. At 8, join Mark Stein. And at 9, Dan Wootton Tonight, followed by Headliners. On TV, radio and online. This is GB News.
Here on GB News Live, we'll be keeping you in the picture, finding out what's happening across the country and finding out why it matters to you. We'll have the facts fast with our team of reporters and specialist correspondents. Wherever it's happening, we'll be there from 12 noon on TV, radio and online. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Dubes & Co. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Dubes & Co.
We are GB News, the People's Channel.
Why not take us home with you by visiting the GB News shop at gbnews.store. You'll find all the official merchandise, a really good present actually for yourself, your friends or your family.
We ship across the UK mainland at no extra cost. GB News, the People's Channel.
I'm Mark White. As GB News Home and Security Editor, I cover those key issues that are so important to you. Our authorities, our communities doing all they can to combat violent crime. With the public services under unbearable strain, why are we still failing to control our borders? Defence, the first priority of any government, has been continually hollowed out. Can we trust our politicians to protect the armed forces? Join me, Mark White, on GB News.
We are GB News, right across the nation. You can get us on television, on radio, on digital. We're absolutely everywhere.
Amazing! You see, amazing!
You remind me of me in the European Parliament. But here's the most important bit. We are not part of the mainstream establishment. We think and speak just like you do. We are the People's Channel.
Magnificent. That's really, really thoughtful.
Come and join us on GB News, the People's News Channel.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Well, it's time to reveal today's Greatest Briton and Union Jackass. Let's see who my panel have nominated. Rebecca, you have chosen actor James Murray as your Greatest Briton. Tell me more about this very handsome man and why you've chosen him.
He's not bad looking, is he? So I did Bev Turner's show on, I think it was Tuesday.
Humble brag.
I'm in that phase of Christmas where I don't know what day of the week it is. So I did the show with Bev and he was on it. And so we met him in the green room afterwards with his daughter, who was also lovely. And he was talking to me about his charitable work. He was on talking about fishing, completely unrelated. And actually, himself and his wife, Sarah Parish, have raised over $4 million for children's critical care because they lost a child who was obviously very young. So to raise $4 million is a phenomenal, phenomenal effort. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication. So, yes, absolutely.
Well, that is a very good choice then. Tommy, you have chosen Darren Dowling.
Darren Dowling, known as...
Not as giving, possibly.
No. Well, he's a clever man. He's known as Dazza to his mates. I think anyone who nicknames themselves with a couple of Zs in there, Jozza, you'd be Jozza, Rebezza, Shawza, I'll be Tozza. Anyone who does that deserves a big up. But also what he did was he went to McDonald's and ordered online, and, you know, you can minus out certain ingredients. He minused out, Josh, everything. And he ordered himself some air, and an empty Big Mac box turned up. And he was chuffed because his plan had worked. And what this shows on a deeper level is the kind of crazy consumer times that we live in, that you can actually order air for £8 it cost him from McDonald's. Okay. And actually there's a message about Christmas there that actually it shouldn't be about what you can order online. It should be about what's in the box, not what's not in the box.
For some air.
Cool,
yeah, how very spiritual.
Very clever. Very
clever.
Now,
Sean, you went with a very heartfelt choice. Tell us more about this.
Mine is people facing difficulty over Christmas, be it loneliness, illness, poor, just have no money, feel depressed, feel forlorn. I hope the Christmas message brings you one of hope. Christmas is meant to be about everything other than gifts, actually. It's meant to be about people.
Exactly.
And I would just hope that you can find this time as a way to maybe move forward slightly in your own special way. It doesn't mean your whole world's going to change and all of a sudden you're a Hollywood star, but how can you and maybe people around you who you don't yet know move forward? That, for me, is a message of Christmas hope.
Well, after hearing that, I think it's got to be Dazza. No, it's going to be the people facing difficulties, of course, especially anybody watching GB News over the last few days. Wishing you all the best, particularly Sandra in Scotland, who has got pneumonia. And thank you very much, Sandra, for your Christmas card. Very sweet. Let's see who my panel have nominated for their Union Jackass. Rebecca, you have gone for Michelle Moan.
Yeah,
now, what does she ever do to anybody?
Well, in my personal opinion, it's one of the reasons why the House of Lords needs abolishing. Another reason that I personally feel that her actions are criminal and that she needs to be facing criminal charges rather than civil ones, because of the absolute farce of how much money that she has managed to make through the VIP entry system of the COVID farce. So, yes, atrocious person who I think belongs in jail. But it's my personal opinion.
Yes, that way we can't be sued. Tommy, you have gone for...
The same guy.
Darren Dowling again.
Yep.
Did you understand the remit?
I did, because I was split with this guy. And I thought, guys, is he a genius or is he a jackass? And I realised he's both, because obviously he's broken the system, he's ordered air, he's made his message, but he's also an idiot, because he's just wasted £8. And in these tough times when everyone's counting every penny, this man's got money to waste for a silly little prank, so people like me can talk about it on very intelligent TV shows.
Well, indeed. Well, I hate to tell you this, Tommy, but he actually stole the idea from a guy in Texas.
Oh, see, even worse.
He's a plagiarist as well.
Copyright. They should have copyright.
Terrible.
See, we believe that copyright is our right to copy.
Terrible, indeed. Sean, you went for angry shoppers. Now, we just happen to have this photo on file of the time that my fake ID didn't work. So they're like, you can't be 18. So, there we go. Tell us about this.
Angry shoppers, rude shoppers, look. These people who are at work trying to make our Christmas work, the least you could do is treat them civilly. If you go out to the shops tomorrow or even do at the shops today, those people could have been at home with their family, but instead they're earning a crust and they're out serving you. So the least you could do is treat them with some dignity, because one of the big challenges for this country going forward is how do we recover our sense of national mission? And the first part of that is just being polite to each other, just being pleasant.
I cannot disagree with that in any way. People who are rude to waiters, to anybody in shops, I think deserve...
Snobbery.
It is snobbery, and it's disgusting behaviour, really. And it's the unnecessariness of it. Why create...
And you get larger portions when you're nice. Like if you just nice
wink
to the chip shop man, to whatever, you would get a few extra chips, a little bit extra
Tommy, what might help you? Actually ordering the good, not emptying
Dazza.
Well, look, we're going to go with Michelle Monet, partly for having a name, which I am never sure if I'm pronouncing correctly. I don't think she's going to be too bothered, though, to win this award, as she's going to be too busy counting her millions. For now. That is it then. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and a massive thanks to my brilliant panel for giving up their time on Christmas Eve. Coming up, it's the Headliners Christmas Special. And quickly finishing now with a poem I began the evening with. He sprang to his sleigh to give his team a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. but I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
Looking ahead to tomorrow's weather, and the UK is looking windy and mild for most, with a mixture of sunny spells and showers. Let's take a look at the details. Showers will affect northern Scotland to start Christmas Day, though, with some sunny spells as well, especially in the east. A windy morning, particularly for coastal regions, though mild for most. Showers for many in the west, but a dry start for eastern parts of Northern Ireland, though showers will soon feed in on the southwesterly winds. A mixture of sunshine and showers to start Christmas Day for Northern England, with the heaviest and most frequent showers across the western areas. There will be some dry weather across Wales to begin tomorrow morning. However, there will be some showers too, especially for northern and western parts. A breezy morning, though, mild for all. A dry start for much of the East Midlands on Christmas Day, with some sunny spells too. There will be some showers spreading into the west of the region later in the morning. For East Anglia, although it will be a mostly cloudy start tomorrow, it will be dry for many, though there is a chance of some rain in the far south. Across southern England, it will be dry for many at first, though showers will move in from the west, with a chance of some more prolonged rain in the east. Showers will continue to feed in from the west, remaining generally drier in the east, becoming colder in the far northwest. And that is how the weather is shaping up during tomorrow morning.
I'm Mark Dolan. Join me at 11 on GB News for Headliners, in which I'll be joined by two of the UK's top comedians discussing tomorrow's papers. If it's an important story, we'll cover it, but we'll have some fun along the way. Headliners, the late night paper review that won't send you to sleep like the others will. 7 nights a week at 11 p.m. on GB News.